All right, that was Lupin Management in conversation with Archana. What you're seeing in those red and yellow flashes at the bottom of the screen is the RBI conference call with research analysts. That's the governor speaking, Raghuram Rajan, so you can keep one eye on that. And the other one on this next management discussion, Godrej Properties reported a set of unimpressive numbers this seasonally weak quarter. Sonia Shenoy, who tracks this sector, now joins in. She has with her Pirojsha, Godrej Managing Director and CEO of Godrej Properties. Sonia, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thanks, Menka, for that. Pirojsha, thanks so much for joining us on the show. Like Menka was mentioning, it has been a seasonally a weak quarter because of Shraddh for the entire sector, not just for you. But what is the visibility that you're getting as we head into the second half of the year? What are the new launches that Godrej Properties has lined up, and how will that really propel the revenue stream?
Sure. Yeah, I think you're right. There certainly has been a subdued environment for the sector for the first half of the financial year. I think we're quite happy to note that we've actually, despite that slowdown, been able to register strong growth in both revenues and profits. So if you look at for the first half, our revenues are up about 21%, and our profit, both EBITDA and net profit, are up about 50%. But certainly, I think we are looking forward to getting more launches done in the second half than we've had in the first half. We're looking at several launches here in Mumbai, especially some of the redevelopment projects that we've been adding to our portfolio, which we think will meet with a very strong reception. So we have projects in Chembur, in Baikala, in Ghatkopar, all of which will be launched in the second half. We're also looking at launching new phases in several of our existing projects around the country. So I certainly hope to see much more robust sales performance in the second half. Just one small point to note about the second quarter sales. While it's right that there has been a large drop in the area sold on a year-on-year basis, the corresponding period in the previous year saw a very, very successful launch of a new project in Gurgaon where we sold about 1 million square feet in a single day. So if you remove that one project, the sales were about flat for the quarter.
Okay, I'm going to come back to the business in a bit, but just to talk about the balance sheet issues, the stock has corrected almost 40% since the month of May after that 700 crores rights issue was approved by the management. There are fears in the market that it will strain the company's already weak ROE. Can you tell me exactly how you've deployed the 700 crores that you got from the rights issue?
Yeah, of course, these funds will be used for a variety of purposes. One is to reduce debt, and as you said, the net debt of the company has reduced. Of course, we feel there's a big opportunity in the current environment to look at adding new projects to our portfolio, and we think given the general weakness and given the liquidity pressures that many developers and landowners are facing, there is an opportunity to add new projects at attractive valuations. So I think the focus for the company and the reason we raise these funds is really to fund our ongoing growth and to do it in a manner that allows us to both continue growing robustly but also doesn't in any way stretch our balance sheet. And if you look now at our debt equity ratio, for instance, at the end of the quarter we ended at a debt equity ratio of about 0.56:1. Which is substantially lower than it has been in the recent past, and as recently as a couple of years ago that number was about 2:1.
Okay, what about interest costs? I mean, you have brought down your debt this quarter, but going forward, how much do you think interest costs will come down? Because that has eaten into your profitability quite a bit. Can you give us some specific numbers?
Sonia, I'd slightly disagree on the quantum of our current debt being at all challenging for the company of our scale. Our net debt at 1,260 crore, we think and the servicing of that interest is going to be a very small component of our year-end EBITDA in the current financial year. Our borrowing costs are about the lowest in the industry and have reduced both quarter on quarter and year on year. Our average borrowing cost currently is 11.3%. So I don't think that we feel we're under any kind of liquidity pressure or in any way need to reduce our debt further. I think the rights issue has greatly strengthened our balance sheet, and I think the focus now will be on executing smartly, generating as much cash as we can from existing projects through launching these, but also on continuing to invest smartly to secure our future growth.
Okay, I guess analysts are concerned because you have been burning a lot of cash on expenses such as the BKC project, etc. But be that as it may, one last question, Pirojsha. Exactly on the BKC project, what's the update currently? How much have you sold? What is the booking value? And is the project on schedule?
So that project's going on in full swing. I think construction we're actually a little ahead of schedule, which is good to note. We've sold now just under 200,000 square feet in the project since we launched the project. We have a booking value currently of about 500 crore. Our target was to achieve about 200 to 250,000 square feet of sales on an annual basis. So that's almost been achieved already in the first 6 or 7 months. I think, certainly we're seeing a lot of interest from major institutions who are drawn to moving into BKC, who believe that this project, given the kind of quality we're emphasizing both in terms of design, sustainability, location and so on, is the right one for them. So I think we've been reasonably happy with the response so far, but of course this is a project where we will see ongoing leasing and sales for the next 3 or 4 years.
All right, all the best. Pirojsha, thanks so much for joining us. Menka, with that, it's back to you.
All right, Sonia, thanks very much. We've got some interesting news flashing on your screens there. Finance Ministry sources telling CNBC TV 18